Hello guys, welcome back to another reading. This is Divine Truth Tarot and TJ is here as well. I'm cat sitting. My parents have a new kitten, so you can probably hear him in the background, and he likes to eat the cards. So I'm going to do my best to deliver this reading for you guys, but he's likely to come over and fuck up all the cards several times, and I hope you enjoy the presence of a feline. So today is a special day in my connection. I share about it in more detail over on Patreon. I posted there this morning. So for those of you who are part of that community, I explain what's going on, and I made a decision today, and I wanted to explain what was going on and why I made that decision and where I think the feminines are at. In addition to all of my VIP patrons, I will be, you will have your live April, or your live stream is going to be, I think I said this Friday, Thursday or Friday, and I'm going to do it through Zoom this time. So for you guys, and if you're wondering, well, what is that? There's just different tiers and different levels of Patreon. So Patreon, the VIP supporters, it's $25 a month. And so yeah, we'll be doing a Q&A over there. You guys can ask me questions, and I'm going to be talking and giving more insight into what is going on, and hopefully do maybe some mini readings as well. So I wanted to announce that, but have a look over on Patreon, because I know there's a lot of new subscribers here, and Patreon is my backup. And oh my God, the cat's literally going crazy. It's my backup, and it is also, oh, sorry, he's created an obstacle course on the porch. It's my backup, and it's just a way to ensure that there is something available in case anything happens to YouTube, because as we know, things are rapidly changing on this planet, in this world, and in the way in which we deliver information. And we're really moving towards a subscription service economy. And so I wanted to, oh my God, he's lost his mind. I wanted to really just get on board with that. TJ! Okay, he's lost his mind. I don't know if you guys can hear him or see him, but he's running all over the place. Okay, so what we're going to do today, that being said, oh, and readings. I know some of you guys have reached out for personal readings. I have 16 readings for April to complete that I'm just getting to now, because I was a little bit behind from March due to the energies being extremely dense and extremely, just feeling extremely fatigued. So I will be starting the April readings today, actually. Yay. And then as I get some space and those clear up, I'm going to be booking a few more readings for April, and then I'll be booking out into May. So if you haven't heard from me yet, that's why. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a check-in with the counterparts. I feel like the energies today are just extremely, actually peaceful after the new moon is passed. It's sort of like the calm after the storm. We had the full moon in Libra 2 weeks ago, the new moon in Aries, and now things are just sort of peaceful transition. And I bet a lot of you are feeling just really, really at ease. Something interesting is going on right now. It's a throat chakra. Like, I feel like gagging, and it's a really, really uncomfortable feeling. And this feeling comes up, you know, every now and then, and it just came up. It kind of went away now, but it just came up a few seconds ago. So perhaps some of you need to speak your truth, and it's something is being suppressed in that department. Perhaps your counterpart needs to speak their truth, and they're suppressing their truth. But something, I feel like truths are going to be spoken, because that was really intense and very visceral. It was very much felt like body sense, felt in the body, and not just a, you know, a spiritual experience. So let me know if you guys have been experiencing that. Give the video a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe. If you guys want to receive notifications, the way that YouTube works, from what I understand now, is you actually have to subscribe to receive all notifications if you want any notifications. I don't understand why or how that works, but it does. Okay, so the Fool card coming up. What is really fascinating is there are themes going on right now in personal readings, and themes going on in the collective readings that I'm doing over the past few weeks. The Fool card speaks of new beginnings. It speaks of something has ended, a cycle has ended, a season in your life has ended. a version of you has been closed out. A new timeline has been opened. And, you know, this is occurring for all of us. And I spoke about springtime being very significant back in fall of last year. And so now we're starting to see really that, like, the blossoming of spring, the blossoming of these energies. So I just want to let you guys know that this is it's no surprise that things are beginning to sort of take shape. But it's really about risking it all, taking that risk and that blind leap of faith to propel you forward into the direction of your dreams, wherever it is that you choose to go. And I feel like many feminines are deeply rooted in the physical 3D world right now. And in being rooted in the 3D physical world, you are less apt to obsess or worry or even think about your counterpart. And so for many of you, where you may have reached out several times, you know, last year in separation, or you may have been the one, let's say you're living with your counterpart, or you're in a relationship with them in the physical reality, and you may have been the one to sort of, you know, you have an argument and you were always the one to reach out. The feminine has really stepped back and is no longer engaging in that sort of behavior. She's really stepped back to take back her power, and she's unapologetic about it. So I feel like this is definitely the new beginnings that are coming up. And look, we have a new moon here. So this new moon in Aries that happened yesterday and is still very potent and powerful today, depending on where you are in the world, it could still be the 12th today, is extremely transformative. Aries new moon is one of the most powerful new moons that you can have. So I'd like to get an overall energy for the masculines. Overall energy. And remember, this is your inner masculine energy and the outer masculine. Rebirth, 10 of Wands. Yeah, these are repetitive cards that are showing up over and over again right now, because we are definitely in the ending of a cycle. And the 10 of Wands speaks of putting down burdens, okay? Releasing burdens, realizing that you don't have to do it all, that you don't have to know it all, and allowing yourself to really feel free of the past and free of any restrictions or anything that has held you back from moving forward, okay, in your life. And yeah, the masculines are moving forward. I feel like even though a lot of them released themselves physically from those connections last year in 2020, or even potentially 2019 for some of them, but many of them released themselves from toxic or karmic situations in 2020. What we're seeing now in 2021 is we're seeing the masculine rise up and assert themselves as the healed divine masculine, as the healer, as a masculine with gifts, as a masculine with compassion and empathy. And we're seeing this, and it's so beautiful to bear witness to this as a feminine, because it's also healing the masculine energy within us. So we are seeing these masculines speak up on social media. Okay, we are seeing them form groups. We are seeing them form support systems with one another. And these are the masculines who are brave and courageous enough to put themselves out there and to be, you know, on the forefront of this battleground, this war of dark versus light and distorted masculine versus healed divine masculine. So the masculines are closing out a chapter. So even if they physically closed out the chapter last year, this is the year I feel that they'll be closing it out emotionally. And that's really important. You might want to write that down, or pause, rewind, and replay what I just said. This is really significant. So the masculines that physically closed out a chapter, left a marriage, left a relationship, left a job, moved homes, whatever, last year, in 2021, this is the year that they are emotionally healing from that physical act or physical choice. They weren't healed last year, and that's probably why they did not reach out. So this is information that's flooding in as I am giving you. I'm giving you the information and the downloads and the channeled messages as I'm receiving them in real time. So let's get a message now for the feminines. So interesting. It's a lot of major arcana energy flowing through personal readings as well. So guys, you've got the wheel. You know, the wheel of fortune is spinning in your favor. And so it's like the masculines are over here, ending a cycle, healing, removing the obstacles, coming forward, removing the burdens. You're a crazy cat, TJ. And the feminines are over here starting a new cycle as well, right? So both of you are starting a new cycle, and both of you can relate. He wants to be famous and on camera. Look, TJ. Oh, crazy. So both of you are starting this new cycle in your lives, not just in your connection or in love, but in every aspect. You particularly, you can't eat those, of your lives. And excuse you, I do feel like both of you can relate to one another, and both of you are doing some mirroring at this time. You're both in this energy of wanting to start over, wanting to start fresh, and really unwilling to take less than what you deserve, and unwilling to just, hey, stop. Unwilling to just settle and accept crumbs, like breadcrumbs, unwilling from each other and from everyone and everything in your life. And you're both really excited for this new cycle, right? You're both super excited to be starting a new chapter. I can feel the emotions. And now that we've released the full moon in April, the new moon in April, I feel like we're gonna be like, okay, now it's time. In a couple weeks here, we're going to be moving in, actually in like a week or so, we're going to be moving into Taurus season, which is going to be super grounding and super earthy. And we're going to be able to really sink our feet in, sink our heels into the changes that are occurring. And we're going to be able to ground in those changes, ground in the emotional changes, ground in the physical changes, ground in the mental changes, the spiritual changes. It's going to feel really good here. Aries season has been a lot. It's been a huge expenditure of energy. All right, so let's get union energy, please. Two of Wands. You've come into your own new partnerships or contracts. Continue to move forward. Two of Wands often talks about long term. Deciding you want to do something in the long term. So what are the long-term ramifications of my choices? And what is it? It's both of you are truly asking yourselves, what is it that's going to make me happy and satisfy me and fulfill me in the long term? You're so rude. Cats can be so rude. So in the long term, what does this look like for me? What does this feel like for me? Is this really what I want? Am I basing this off of what I want or on people pleasing or what I think other people want? And you guys, neither of you are doing that anymore. Both of you are moving forward from a place of directness, from a place of, a healed throat chakra, speaking your truth, and really wanting to move forward together. It's like a new contract. I feel like the old contracts are being ripped up and ripped to shreds for the divine masculine, right? These old karmic contracts. And as that happens, it's opening up space for the divine feminine to really come in. Guys, if you as the divine feminine were really called to step back or walk away last year or in 2019 or whenever you were called to do that, the reason was that there was a karmic contract in place that you were unable, you could not break through. You weren't able to penetrate that karmic contract because the time hadn't yet come. And no matter what you did or said, you could have threatened, I'll never see you again, I'll never talk to you again. Or, some of you may have done that with your divine masculine. You may have blocked them out. You may have pleaded with them, begged them. There could have been all different sorts of, I don't want to say tools that you use, but possibilities that you tried, different avenues that you tried, and it wouldn't have mattered because your masculine had a karmic contract to fulfill. Once that was fulfilled, it ended. It's as simple as that. It truly is as simple as that. So these are literally, I see these divine masculines ripping up these karmic contracts, and because we're in Aries season, which is a season, fire season, and this is a fire card, the Two of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, I do see these masculines burning these contracts. I mean, they're done. They don't want to leave any trace of this. They want to make sure this is completely out of their system. And I feel like they're not going to come forward to the feminine until this is completely out of their system because they know they're still toxic. They know that they still have healing to do. And that's why the feminine's been really called to step back and to stay back. And I feel like whereas in the past, feminine, you may have wanted to reach out or you may have even reached out to your masculine, what's happening right now is that you're just not doing that. So you're not reaching out on holidays, you're not reaching out on birthdays, you're not feeling compelled to carry the weight of the connection. You're wanting equality, you're wanting equal effort, okay? You're wanting that Six of Pentacles energy, that balanced energy, that equal give and take. And if the masculine can't give that to you or isn't willing to give that to you, you're not settling for less than what you deserve. This is about moving forward, but definitely long-term plans. So let's actually get a clarification for the Two of Wands. Spirit, tell me more about the Two of Wands. Interesting. So we have some Cups energies, Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. This is the... Let me just double check. I think it's the Page of the Knight, and I think it's the Page of Cups, but let me just double check here. This is a very interesting deck. Okay, let me see. Give me a moment. You're crazy, TJ. Okay. Well, it's the Page or the Knight of Cups. I'm not finding that information here. I thought it was in here. Anyway, the bottom line is there's peace and understanding being brought into this connection. If you recall in the beginning of this reading, I talked about this. It's now that we've gone through the full moon and the new moon in the month of April, there's a sense of peace and tranquility that's moving through the collective that I feel is very beneficial to your connections and to your life, at large, to your life in general. So I asked to clarify the Two of Wands, and we've got understanding. So both of you are going to recognize that even though you've maybe have taken divergent paths, which I've spoken about in past readings, that your paths are now going to start to converge again. And I strongly feel like by summertime, there's going to be some forward momentum or movement for a lot of you within your connections. This might not be the grand gesture that you're hoping for or waiting for. And this is why it's important that we don't attach to outcomes. We don't attach to our manifestation, that we don't attach to a specific way that we're expecting somebody or something to show up. And instead, we just set the intention and we step back and allow the manifestation to unfold. Somebody wants to speak up for sure. Somebody's been holding back a lot of information. Eight of Wands, yeah. So the Eight of Wands, of course, as you know, is a very fast-paced, fast-moving card, much like the Chariot. Events moving at a fast pace, delays are over, and many things happening at once. So it can be a little chaotic, right? It's almost like this is, again, guys, I have to say this, the energy that I've picked up on is that these masculines are going to come rushing in, no holds barred, no obstructions, right? The obstructions are being removed, right? The 10 of Wands, the obstacles are being removed. And in their place, we have forward momentum and movement. No more delays, okay? No more delays about the future. No more delays about where they want to be and who they want to be with. No more questions. Instead, there's going to be clarity, peace, and understanding. So Spirit, tell me how the feminine is feeling at this time. Page of Cups. I believe this is the Page also. So interesting. Both the masculine and the feminine reflecting back to one another, the Page of Cups energy. So both of you feeling like you want to feel understood, you want to understand each other. So wherever there has been miscommunication or like a misguided comment or just fear within your connection, fear that the other person doesn't feel the same way, fear that union won't happen, fear that you will never talk to them again or never see them again, wherever, or that they're with somebody else or they've chosen somebody else or whatever that fear will be. Out. Stop, TJ. Out. No. Man, he's like a kid. He wants all of your attention. Crazy, crazy pants. So wherever the counterparts have misunderstood one another or the other's intentions, where you've misunderstood their intentions, there's going to be an understanding. There's going to be a sensitivity that is flowing into these connections that's going to allow both counterparts to truly start fresh. You know, it says a new person enters your life or a relationship begins a new phase. And in this case, this will be your relationship starting fresh and starting new. We've got the Fool energy, the wheel turning, the Ten of Wands, the rebirth. It's very clear we're headed towards a future and we're headed towards changes, heightened psychic abilities. So your counterpart and you are both connecting with one another in the astral realms. Okay, so yeah, the astral realm communication is at an all-time high right now. And I want you guys to understand that it's a perfectly legit way of communicating to your counterpart when you're not in communication in the physical. What has this new moon brought into these divine counterpart connections? It's brought in balance, okay? It's brought in this state of balance. It's removed the fear. As you remove the fear, you bring in balance. It's bringing in more of that inner union energy. It's truly where you know, it's interesting that you see the light in both of these cards. And I feel like the light is being shown on the darkness or on the shadows. And that will happen with a new moon in particular, and the full moon. Full moons bring things to completion, and new moons make way or make way for change, okay? Make way for new beginnings, fresh starts, new chapters, new seasons in one's life, new belief systems, new ideas, new developments, etc. So I want to clarify though. Spirit, tell me more about the fear card. Three of Swords. Okay, so Three of Swords is another theme that's been showing up inside of my readings. I don't know why these are not staying. Please stay. You know, if you talk to your cards, they listen. So we've got the Six of Wands and the Three of Swords to clarify the fear card. Okay, we're just going to do this. Okay, so clarifying. Now, Three of Swords, as we know, is the card of heartbreak. It is just the card of an aching heart, a hurt heart, betrayal, deception, oftentimes can indicate a third party. You guys notice I don't talk about the third parties anymore. I'm not that reader that focuses on the third parties, because all you're doing is bringing the third party more and more into your awareness. And all you're doing is bringing more focus, more attention, and more manifestation into those third parties. So why in the hell would you want to do that? The third party is an illusion. Even if there's children, even if there's a life created, the third party was never meant to be permanent. There was always a karmic contract. There was always an expiration date. I cannot stress that enough, because it really frustrates me and angers me to see readers out there focusing on the karmics. And then I see people getting riled up, and I don't watch them anymore. But in the past, I would just click on these readings and you just see the comments, and people were just focused on the, you know, there's just so much negativity towards the karmics, towards the divine masculine. That's not going to get you anywhere. And likely, if that's how you're feeling, you're not a divine feminine. You're not a twin flame. You're probably a karmic yourself. And so it's just like, why would you focus on, who cares what the karmic's doing? Who cares what the DM is doing with the karmic? They don't matter. They can never take the place of the divine feminine. So that's just a little aside. Okay, so back to the Three of Swords. There was a need for forgiveness. And so this new moon has brought in, you know, a deeper need for healing and forgiveness in your connection towards your counterpart and towards the karmic partner, or towards anybody that you feel was an obstacle or obstructed justice within your connection. And then the Six of Wands, which of course is the card of victory. Okay, it's the card of recognition. public recognition or awards, good news is on its way. This is very much you being supported by others, you being supported by your soul fam. And it's also talking about the victory that after the heartache, it's like, are you really in a twin flame connection if you haven't felt heartache? If you haven't had your heart broken, if you haven't felt, complete devastation, are you really in a twin flame connection? And so if you haven't felt that it's over, 25 times, right, in a given month or a year, are you really in a twin flame connection? So victory after a period of heartbreak, breaking free from the fear, which brings in balance. So let's check in with, what is this new moon bringing in the divine feminine? Wisdom. Yes, I feel this for you, divine feminine. We're going to just go ahead and erase the fear because it's brought in wisdom for the divine feminine. And it's brought in a lot of gratitude for her journey, gratitude for her counterpart, gratitude for the lessons learned, gratitude for the pain, gratitude for the heartbreak, gratitude for the deception, gratitude for everything, gratitude for the presence and the absence of her divine counterpart. And the wisdom that has been gained, she really has gained her wings. The divine feminine really has grown. She doesn't react in the same way, she responds instead. So she takes a step back, and instead of reacting, I choose to respond. So tell me about the divine masculine. This new moon in Aries is inspiring or spurring action in the divine masculine. It's really interesting because the more the feminine really steps back and takes back her power and doesn't engage in those old cycles or old versions of herself, the divine masculine frees himself more and more from those limiting beliefs, from the sadness, from the heartache. So the divine masculine is healing from the heartache of, like I said, ending those karmic cycles. This is where the emotional healing begins for the masculine. Any other energy, medicine for the masculines, medicine for the masculines. The masculine has surrendered to his emotions, surrendered to the process of healing, surrendered to this connection. And yeah, he's given up the resistance. Look, he's surrendered. There's no more resistance. The resistance has been completely eradicated. Or if not completely, very close to it. What an interesting, the readings are so juicy these days. The readings are so fascinating, guys. And if I'm getting to your personal readings now, be in gratitude that it didn't happen earlier this month, because I was not in the right place energetically. I was extremely exhausted. And personal readings take a lot out of a reader. And you can ask any reader. It's much more than a collective reading. May sound like it would be the opposite, but for me, the personal readings, I devote so much time and energy that I'm oftentimes exhausted. If I do 4 personal readings in a day, I'm absolutely exhausted. And it may not sound like a lot to someone who, is working 8 hours a day. It may be like, well, what are you talking about? I work 10 hours a day. I'm on my feet, right? I have a physical job. I've done all of those jobs. I waited tables off and on for 7 years. I have worked desk jobs. I have worked physically demanding jobs at a beach resort. Okay, I've worked banquets. I've done everything. So I know what it's like to work hard, and this is a different kind of working hard. This is a kind of working hard where you're just energetically just zapped because of how much you're giving. Let's get a card for the divine masculine, please. Now this is the animal spirit deck. The beaver, he's working hard. He's building his nest, working hard, chipping away. He literally is, guys. He's chipping away at the obstacles. He's chipping away at his own, it's more like his own inner resistance. Whereas in the past, it may have been other people. Those people are no longer controlling him. Now it's the energy of him having those pep talks with himself and releasing those obstructions within himself. The beaver is a hard-working, dedicated animal. He's dedicated to this journey. He's rededicating himself to you and to this journey, even if you're not hearing a damn thing in the physical reality. Because it doesn't matter what you're seeing or hearing in the physical reality, because there's still so many illusions afoot. And guys, you know that. There's still so many illusions occurring in the physical world. And unfortunately, many people have bought into those illusions. Many people have bought into it thinking, you know what? This is real because it's repetitive information that you're receiving, 3 times a day from the news. And the masculine has really stepped out of that template of people pleasing and like wanting or needing to make other people feel happy, or wanting or needing to explain himself to other people. He's now like, I don't need to explain anything to anybody. I make my own choices. You can take it or leave it. The masculine, he may not be coming up for air a lot right now, is sort of the image that I'm seeing. He may sort of just be really strapped to his work, but it's not like in the past where he was a workaholic. This is him working hard towards building a life for himself so that he may not even know this cognitively. He may not know this consciously, but the life that he's building, this new life that he's building and creating, is to include you. It is for you. It is for us, like the us, that's you and him. He may not know that yet. He may just think he's just working and building and creating himself a new life. And he's like, wow, I wish I could be with her. He may still feel a little heartbroken about it, but part of him knows and feels that there's victory on the horizon. And a part of him knows, like, he's so surrendered. He's no longer resisting. He's taking this action. Beaver is an action card. It's an earthy card. He knows that something is going to shift. And I feel like because we have beaver, and beaver is an earthy animal connected to the element earth, I do feel strongly that the divine masculine is going to be taking this inspired action in the month of May, which is an earth, May is Taurus, and that's an earth sign. What about the divine feminine? Tell me about the divine feminine, Spirit. 1 card, please. It's funny, that wanted to come out, but it didn't come all the way out, so I put it back in, and then it came out again. So clearly, the divine feminine, interesting, divine feminine has got the raccoon energy. Now, I actually think that the beaver, give me a second, guys, because I think the beaver, they're associating with water. Okay. Yeah, interesting. So that's a water element. I have been corrected. Now, the raccoon is an earthy animal. So the feminines, you're definitely doing some shadow work, feminines. Yes. Okay. I've been picking up on this in readings as well, as have other readers and other healers. You're sort of in hiding at this time. And your masculine, this is like the perception of your masculine. Your masculine's like, I'm working away over here. Like, look, it's like the beaver can have an anxiety, like an anxious energy to it. It's like, oh my God, I'm working. I want to build a family. I want to build this life. And you're just over here like, I'm gaining wisdom. I'm in gratitude, but I'm in hiding a little bit. Not showing yourself, coming out at night, right? Traditionally, raccoons come out more at night. They're very cute animals. They're also extremely clever, as are beavers. They're very talented, okay? They can open cans. They know how to open and close a bottle. These are not dumb animals. These are extremely smart animals. And I feel like the feminine is dealing with, self-image, like healing. And this is what's going on for the healers right now. Healing self-image issues around success, around abundance. You're going to be taking that mask off. The masculine feels you wearing the mask. It's like the feminine's wearing the mask now and the masculine has freed himself. But I feel like this is more about you wearing the mask because you don't want your counterpart. Okay. The feminine is coming eye to eye and face to face with a part of herself that she may have denied. And you have to do this solo. You have to do this alone, feminine. Those of you who this is resonating with. Because some of you may be doing this work in tandem with your counterpart. But I think For the energy I'm picking up on, it's an energy of the feminine wanting or needing to do this alone. But this is not like the dark night of the soul. I'm not picking up on that. This is more just those shadowy aspects or parts of yourself that have been in hiding that you're just bringing to the light. So your masculine feels like you're far away. This is exactly how the feminine felt last year. So for the connection, we have snake. There's a shedding of skin, and that's exactly par and par, right, with the new cycles. The 10 of Wands, the Fool card, ending one cycle, beginning another one. The snake card represents transformation. The snake card also represents our untapped potential, which is really hand in hand with what the feminine is experiencing right now with the raccoon energy. And the masculines over here tapping into their potential and learning what their gifts are, getting in touch with their spiritual gifts. When the snake energy is in balance, it brings prosperity and abundance, which is interesting, right? Because we talked about sort of that fear or that lack of abundance, that scarcity mentality. Just fragments of those things are coming up because feminines, you've healed a lot of that already. You've healed the shadow. This could just be fragments coming up from past lives. And the snake energy, if you guys are familiar with yoga, or Kundalini energy, Kundalini yoga, you'll know that at the base of your spine sits the Kundalini energy, and when it's awakened, it will rise up the spine, and it can feel scary sometimes if you're not guided by a healer, if you're not guided by a yogi, yogini, and this energy is really being awakened in the feminines right now. It's being awakened in the masculines as well. So what kind of unawakened or untapped potential are you carrying, right? This is for both counterparts. This is union energy. So both of you have a Kundalini rising. Whereas the feminine is probably more familiar with this, the masculine may be experiencing this for the first time. It's sort of like when you're awoken from a deep slumber and the masculines are awake. They are awake. Prosperity is coming in, abundance is coming into these connections in ways in which you probably never thought possible. I'd like to get one more card here. What a fascinating reading. I kind of wish I was on the other side of this reading listening because it's so interesting. It's just so interesting, the interpretation of the cards, because that's also changing for me the way in which I interpret the cards, if you guys have noticed. We have the Magician, which comes right after the Fool. You have the Fool, and then you have the Fool who realizes, wait, I have tools in my tool belt. I have the Wands, I have the Cups, I have the Swords, I have the Pentacles. You are ready. You have the resources or the ability to manifest form. This is about bringing your pure manifestations into the physical reality. Life is magical. Bringing back the magic into these connections. This has been a long time coming for a lot of you. I feel like this reading in particular is for those of you who have been in no communication for 2 years or less in particular. Doesn't mean that this won't resonate with someone who's been in no contact or whatever for 5 to 10 years, but I feel like this is more for those people who really since 2019, 2020, maybe even 2018, maybe the end of 2017, maybe. You're going to really resonate with this reading, and you're going to be you'll feel this in your bones, guys. You'll feel when something resonates. Don't make it fit if it doesn't. You don't hurt my feelings. Don't hurt yourself in the process trying to make every reading fit. I hope this is informative. I hope this is inspiring. I hope this ignites power, passion, and clarity in each of you. Please drop a like. And please subscribe to the channel. Tap the bell icon to receive all notifications so you know whenever I drop a new video. And please come over, check out Patreon. You can support me in that way. It's a great honor to have your support here and on Patreon. We are now past 10,000 subscribers. So again, guys, my gratitude to each and every one of you who has ever watched a video, liked a video, subscribed, commented, etc., shared my videos. Thank you so, so much. This has been an organic process of growing over the past year. Let's get it up to 20,000. Let's get it up to 100,000. Let's think big. Let's create this very safe, inspiring community of healers and of divine feminines and divine masculines. And I'm hoping to get more, and I feel like we're going to have more divine masculines speaking up and being a part of our journeys in the near future. So all my blessings and abundance, love, joy, success, and true heartfelt connection. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take great care.